Imagine being 5 years old and relying on the adults around you to keep you safe, to love you, to protect you. Now imagine disappearing, not for a day or a week or even a month, but disappearing for more than 2 years before anyone even realised you were missing.
One husband, one wife.
Both true crime fans.
A different case every episode.
One terrifying story at a time.
I'm Carla.
And I'm Phil.
Welcome to Terrifying and Twisted.
And welcome to episode 4.
Hey up.
Guten Tag. Hola. Bonjour.
All that shit.
I've run out of ways to say hello now.
Hope everyone's doing well. 3 episodes down.
Yep. I hope everyone enjoyed them.
We've had some good feedback.
Yeah, we've had some really good feedback.
We've also had a TikTok page banned, so, you know.
Fucking TikTok.
Honestly, it's amazing the different platforms, what they allow and what others don't.
Yeah.
You've got to be so careful. So we've had to start all over again, over on TikTok, but it's fine. It is what it is.
We're not scared.
No, are we fuck? We've had some alright feedback, haven't we, from the first 3 episodes?
Yeah. Although I did want to say, one of us close friends were quite upset that I didn't give her a shout out.
Yes, she was extremely upset.
So, Kerry Chester Freeman, shout out to you.
Ride or die, day 1. She were upset, wasn't she? I can't believe he forgot about me.
I just did the names. I didn't have a list of names. I just said the names.
Off the top of your head. And to be fair, it was first time jumping back in after years and we both were so nervous.
I think I said 5 years, but I think it's actually like 3.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Either way, we've had a big chunk off.
Yeah.
What we've been watching then, Mr. Hop? Apart from World Cup, because obviously...
World Cup. Then we finished Outlast on Netflix.
Yes, we did.
It's really good. Then we finished The Bear.
The Bear. Jeremy Allen White.
Yeah, finished The Bear. And then we watched something else. Oh, we watched Dutton Ranch.
Yes. Rip and Beth. Gutted that we're going to have to wait so long for next.
Taylor Sheridan.
He's just a mastermind, isn't he? If you haven't watched even Yellowstone, then what are you doing with your life? You need to go jump on Yellowstone. And then watch all spin-offs.
Yeah. You won't watch all spin-offs?
No, not all. Not all, but I've watched...
Carla's the type of person that when she watched Game of Thrones, she skipped episodes.
I didn't even watch Game of Thrones, bro. I watched Sky released a recap episode that were 1 hour for the entire series.
And then she watched the last few episodes.
Completed it, mate.
No.
Completed it, mate. I just weren't into Game of Thrones. But no, I have watched quite a few.
Carla's renowned for not watching things that people should have. Like The Matrix. Carla's never seen The Matrix. She'd never seen... what's the one?
Is this just a calling Carla out episode?
Oh, what's that one in prison? With Morgan Freeman. Shawshank Redemption. She'd never seen Shawshank Redemption.
No, but that is an amazing film. Well, thank you to the husband.
She's not even seen Jaws all the way through.
Fuck off. Now you're just blatantly lying. But there is a theme in our house. You are the film buff.
Yeah.
Our son takes after you for that.
Yeah.
Because he will.
I bet you've not even seen Rockies, have you?
Shut up. That's another running joke in this house.
No, but I bet you haven't, have you?
I don't know if I've seen them all, but
No,
I've
seen a few scenes.
You and I, Travis, watch Rocky enough that means I've at least watched the majority.
No. You've probably watched a few scenes and that's it. There's about 9 films.
Yeah, well, I'm not watching all 9. Anyway, why is this turned into a calling Carla out?
I'm just letting people know that...
I am also really bad, though, at refusing to watch something if it's a massive hype at the time and everyone's watching it.
She's not even seen Breaking Bad.
I watched some of it, and then I got bored.
So she's not even watched Breaking Bad.
I've watched the ones that matter.
No, you haven't. You watched first 2 series.
No, but I mean, in terms of series, I've watched what matters.
Okay.
Anyway.
What, like fucking Love Island?
Don't even go there, because one of my day ones, Tony, she clocked you straight away, pretending you don't look like Love Island, but actually, you're worse for it.
I don't even know who's in it.
Shut up. Shut
I
up.
don't know what actors are in it.
Funny that, because were you not shouting at TV last night? Were you not telling Jasmine, shut up?
I don't know who Jasmine is.
Shut up. You're a liar. Liar. You know it. Anyway, we digress.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we haven't really watched anything true crimey though, have we?
No.
But I tell you what I have been obsessed with at the minute is this new Vinton County 16 Children.
Why don't you tell them about it?
If you have been living under a rock and you don't know about it, 16 children rescued from a home in Vinton County, 4 adults arrested. And Carla got a 1.2 million view on TikTok for that very case. Go me. So yeah, I am keeping up to date with that, but that's like real happening in real time. We had a look on YouTube at Court TV and let's see what, if any, decent...
Yeah, it's the Charlie Kirk assassination.
But that's just a massive rabbit hole to jump down into, and I ain't got time for that.
No.
So we're back to me this week, but before we start, I'm going to read a little bit of a trigger warning. So before we begin, this episode contains discussion of child abuse, child murder, domestic violence, addiction, and the concealment of a child body. As always, our intention is to tell the case respectfully and responsibly, but we understand that this subject may be distressing for some listeners. Are we ready?
Yep. FYI for people, we've got headphones on this time because we wasn't 1,000% happy with his audio.
No, there were a few issues with audio.
It was still better than it was 3 years ago, but we'll see how it is with this.
Right, so you ready?
Yep, born ready.
There are some true crime cases where the mystery is who committed the crime. Others is where the mystery is why. But the Harmony Montgomery case leaves you asking a very different question. How does a 5-year-old disappear for more than 2 years before anyone realises that she's gone? Because that is exactly what happened. Not because there were no warning signs, not because nobody raised any concerns, and not because nobody knew Harmony was vulnerable, because everybody did. Yet somehow, despite all that, this little girl still slipped through the cracks. Harmony Montgomery was born on the 7th of June 2014. Like many children that become the centre of a heartbreaking story, Harmony entered the world already shaped by adult problems. Her parents, Crystal Sorey and Adam Montgomery, both struggled with substance abuse. Their relationship was unstable, and because of this, Harmony spent much of her early life moving between carers, foster homes and family members. It wasn't the childhood any child deserves, but despite the challenges surrounding her, the people that knew Harmony often described her as bright, loving and full of personality. She had a huge smile, a cheeky sense of humour, and like all children her age, just wanted to be loved. Harmony was partially blind in one eye that required extra support and care. It may seem like a small detail, but it makes what happened later even harder to process. She wasn't an invisible child, she wasn't a child nobody knew existed. There were social workers, court hearings and custody arrangements. Adults making decisions about where she should live and who should care for her, peoples whose job it was to protect her. So how did so many systems fail one little girl? To answer that question, we need to talk about Harmony's dad, Adam Montgomery. By the time he was given custody, he wasn't a stranger to the criminal justice system, far from it. Adam had a lengthy criminal history, spending significant periods of Harmony's life in prison. In fact, for much of her life, he had barely been involved in her day-to-day. He wasn't the parent attending the school events, putting her to bed at night, but yet in 2019, that changed. At this time, Harmony's mum, Crystal, was dealing with her own struggles, battling addiction and trying to get her life on track, all whilst a custody case was unfolding. Despite Adam's criminal history and limited involvement in Harmony's life, a court awarded him full custody. After gaining full custody, Adam moved Harmony to New Hampshire, where she moved in with Adam and his wife, Kayla, and several other children. From the outside, it looked like she was settling into this new family life, but beneath the surface, problems were already starting to emerge. A lot of these problems were impossible to ignore. At one point, Adam's uncle noticed that Harmony had a black eye. Concerned, he questioned Adam what had happened. Adam admitted to bashing her around. This was reported not just by the uncle, but by many family members.
And she was 5 years old.
5 years old.
And he bashed her around.
That gave her a black eye.
So, just to clarify, he had addiction issues as well?
Yeah.
And the mother had addiction issues?
Yeah.
But then the courts give her to Adam?
Yeah.
Right.
So this was reported not only by the uncle, but by many family members. And yet, she was allowed to stay in Adam's care. And this is where the story becomes extremely difficult, because every missed opportunity feels like a huge letdown. Warning signs that were impossible to ignore. Every report feels like it was a chance for somebody to step in and save her. But hindsight is a wonderful thing. As 2019 continued, life became more unstable for the Montgomery family. Money was tight, housing became a problem, and the family was evicted. Homelessness and living out of a car, 2 adults and several children. As the weeks passed, things got even worse, and by the end of 2019, little Harmony's life was about to come to a devastating end. But the events that followed would be hidden for years. And when the truth finally came out, investigators would struggle to comprehend how a child could disappear for so long without anyone realising that she was even missing. The most shocking part of Harmony's story isn't what happened to her, it's what happened next. So as 2019 drew to a close, life for the Montgomery family became increasingly chaotic. They had lost stable housing, money was scarce, and according to testimony later heard in court, there were periods where the family members were living out of this car. It's difficult to imagine what it must have looked like. All them children, 2 adults, who were both struggling with addiction, no permanent place to call home, and at the centre of it all, 5-year-old Harmony, a little girl completely dependent on the adults around her, a little girl who had already experienced more instability in her short life than many people experience in decades. At this point, according to testimony later given by Adam's estranged wife, Kayla, Harmony had become the target of Adam's anger. The details that emerged during the trial painted a deeply troubling picture of a life inside that family. And while some of what happened comes from Kayla's account rather than physical evidence, prosecutors argued that her testimony helped explain what happened to Harmony.
So she flipped on him?
Absolutely flipped on him. Because, unlike many murder cases, there would be no body, no forensic examination, no crime scene preserved in time. Harmony's remains have never been found.
Wow.
Which means much of what investigators believe happened comes from the testimony of witnesses and the little evidence that was left behind.
Yeah.
According to Kayla, the family were living in that car in late 2019.
Do we know what kind of car it was? A big car?
No. It weren't anything. It wasn't like what are they called? Like, you know, the family
The big family
with
puff
7,
cars.
6. No, it wasn't anything like that. It was just
Right.
a regular car. According to Kayla, one day Harmony had what was described as a bathroom accident. So I'm going to assume she wet herself.
I
whilst in
still
the
have
car.
bathroom accidents now when I'm 40 years old.
40 years old. But it was Adam's reaction to that accident that led with violence. Kayla later testified that Adam became so enraged, he allegedly repeatedly struck Harmony on the head over and over again. She was just 5 years old, who had had an accident that so many 5-year-olds have. But her dad decided to react in such anger. She was completely defenceless, and according to Kayla's testimony, Harmony's injuries were devastating, and at some point she just stopped responding, stopped moving, stopped breathing.
A 5-year-old girl against a grown man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those moments in a case where everything just changes, because up until then there were still opportunities, still chances for intervention, and still a future. But according to the prosecution, that future ended inside that car parked in New Hampshire because of an accident. Because the very person responsible for protecting her became the person who took her life. If the story ended there, it'd already be heartbreaking enough. But what happens afterwards is what makes this case almost impossible to comprehend. Because instead of calling for help, instead of reporting Harmony missing, instead of admitting what had happened, Adam decided to hide it,
To cover it up.
conceal it. According to testimony, Harmony's body remained with the family for an extended period of time. A little girl had died, yet everything around her continued.
What do you mean her body?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But her body continued to live with that family for an extended period of time. According to Kayla's testimony, Adam moved Harmony's body several times over the following months. She described Harmony's body being concealed in different locations, including inside a cooler box and at one stage inside a ceiling vent. It was months of deception, months during which nobody outside of that immediate family knew what had happened. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of the entire case is that Harmony didn't immediately become a missing child, because nobody reported her missing.
Not even a mum.
Not even a mum.
Was she in contact with her mum?
Barely.
Right.
A 5-year-old girl just disappeared and the world carried on. Christmas came and went, then another year, then another year. Meanwhile, Harmony was gone, and nobody was even looking for her. The person who would eventually raise the alarm was Harmony's mother, Crystal.
After years?
Yep. Over time, Crystal became increasingly concerned because she wasn't able to contact her daughter. She wanted answers, she wanted to know where Harmony was, and all the explanations that she received just didn't add up. According to the investigators, Adam offered various explanations about where Harmony was, at one point even claiming that she was back living with her mother, a statement that would quickly unravel once the police became involved, because when investigators checked, they in fact discover that Harmony wasn't with Crystal.
So where the fuck is she?
Nobody seemed to know where she was. In late 2021, more than 2 years after Harmony is believed to have died, the police were finally alerted. 2 years. A child effectively vanished from face of the earth, and nobody cared enough.
Well, you'd like to say there is a one-off, but it's definitely
100% it is not a one-off. This story quickly attracted national attention because the question that everyone was asking was the same. How on earth can a 5-year-old disappear for more than 2 years before anybody even realises she's gone? As investigators began digging deeper, they uncovered a trail of warning signs, reports that had been made to child services, concerns that had been raised, opportunities where intervention might have happened, the black eye, allegations of abuse, the instability, the missed follow-up appointments. And with every new revelation, public frustration grew, because this no longer looked like a case where nobody knew Harmony was at risk. Instead, it appeared that there had been warning signs all along. Investigators launched the searches, and tips started pouring in. They worked tirelessly to piece together Harmony's final days, but there was one devastating problem. Harmony herself was still missing, and no matter how much evidence investigators gathered, no matter how many witnesses they interviewed, and no matter how many locations they searched, they just could not find her. And to this very day, Harmony Montgomery's remains have never been recovered. For her family, that creates an entirely different kind of pain, because without a body, there can be no final goodbye, no funeral, no place to visit, just questions and heartbreak. As the investigation intensified, attention increasingly focused on Adam, the father who had once been entrusted with his daughter's care. He had been given custody despite the concerns about his past, and now who was at the centre of the most shocking child abuse cases in recent American history. As prosecutors prepared their case, the public would finally begin hearing what they believed happened to Harmony, a story that would leave many people wondering how on so many occasions and so many different opportunities were missed to protect one little girl. By early 2022, investigators faced one of the most difficult challenges imaginable. They believed that the 5-year-old had been murdered, but they still had no body, no murder weapon, and no traditional murder scene. So how are you going to prove a murder when a victim has never been found?
Well, it'd just be the ex-wife say so, or...
So the answer, you build a case piece by piece. And that's exactly what detectives began to do. They spent months retracing every movement. During the final weeks of 2019 and the months that followed, every address, every car, every phone call, every bank transaction, every text message, every person who had crossed paths with the family, slowly a timeline began to emerge. One of the most significant pieces of evidence came from Adam's estranged wife. After agreeing to cooperate with investigators, she gave a detailed account of what she said happened after Harmony died. According to that testimony, Adam made the decision not to report Harmony's death. Instead, he set about hiding it. She told jurors that Harmony's body remained with the family for months. She testified that Adam first wrapped Harmony's body before placing it inside a stroller. He then transferred her remains into a large tote bag. As the family moved between temporary accommodation, Adam carried this tote bag everywhere he went.
He put her body
Yep,
in her bag,
yep.
just like she wore
Some grapes
a pair
from
of
Supermarket.
trainers.
According to Kayla, it travelled with them inside their car. When they then stayed at an apartment, she testified that Adam hid Harmony's body inside a ceiling vent. Later, she said it was moved again, as he searched for a new place to conceal it. The allegations were almost impossible to comprehend. A father allegedly living alongside the body of his own daughter for months.
Why didn't... It's fucking horrendous what he's done to his daughter, but why did he get rid of the body? Why did he bury it? Why did it take it with him?
Who knows?
Maybe...
Because maybe once her body's found, then that everything unravels, doesn't it?
Or
But
maybe it's something fucking weird, like he talks to her on an evening.
That were never said, but it could be a possibility. Obviously, detectives couldn't simply just accept her account. They began testing every single detail that they could. One by one, investigators searched the locations that she did describe, and inside the apartment where she claimed that Harmony had been hidden in the ceiling, forensic investigators made one of the most significant discoveries of the entire case. From inside that ceiling vent, they recovered biological material, which was later tested and identified consistent DNA with Harmony Montgomery. Prosecutors argued it strongly supported Kayla's account that Harmony's body had in fact been concealed in that ceiling vent. Investigators also recovered items belonging to Harmony, including clothing and other personal possessions. None of it suggested she had simply been sent away to live somewhere else. Police examined surveillance footage, phone records, financial records, location data. Each piece of evidence helped detectives reconstruct the family's movements during the weeks and months after Harmony is believed to have died. Perhaps just as importantly, they also found no evidence that Harmony had been seen alive after late 2019. No school attendance, no medical appointments, no contact with any relatives, no birthday celebrations, nothing. She just simply vanished. Prosecutors also presented evidence that Adam repeatedly gave different explanations for her whereabouts. At various times, he claimed she was living with her mother. On other occasions, he suggested she was staying elsewhere, with other relatives.
Well, I'm surprised school didn't fucking blow his phone up, because they blow up our fucking phone when our kids don't go to fucking school.
If they're not in by 5 to 9, phones ringing. When detectives discovered those claims, they discovered they weren't true. Prosecutors argued that the changing stories weren't actions of a grieving father, and they were the actions of someone trying to conceal the truth. Adam's defence, however, saw things differently. They reminded jurors that Harmony's body had never been found, and they argued that the prosecution could not prove exactly how she died, if she had died. Challenged Kayla's credibility, pointing out that she had received immunity from prosecution for certain offences in exchange for her testimony.
Yeah, because what's she fucking guilty of?
Well, let's be honest, she's guilty for quite a lot in my eyes, because you were in the vehicle when it happened, you allowed the abuse to happen, from what I've from what I've read,
Well, you don't know what the dynamics were between.
well, this is what I was just about to say. From what I've read, it is stated that he was quite abusive to her as well. She was scared of him.
Yeah.
And I know that that's something that the prosecution used. But ultimately, the decision rested with the jury. And after hearing weeks of evidence, they concluded that the prosecution had proved its case beyond a reasonable doubt. So in February of 2024, Adam Montgomery was found guilty of second-degree murder. He was also convicted of second-degree assault, abuse of a corpse, witness tampering, and falsifying physical evidence. During sentencing, the judge described Adam's actions as cruel, calculated and incomprehensible. For Harmony's murder, he was sentenced to 56 years to life in prison. And additional consecutive sentences for the remaining offences mean that he is expected to spend the rest of his life behind bars.
Good.
For many people, the verdict brought a sense of justice, but not closure, because the one question still to this day remains:
Where is Harmony?
where is Harmony? Then comes 2026, and this case took another expected turn, because Adam Montgomery appealed his convictions. His legal team argued that errors during the trial meant that he had not received a fair hearing, and he asked the court to overturn the verdict. Appeals like this are a normal part of the criminal justice system. They're not about deciding guilt or innocence all over again. Instead, appeal judges examine whether significant legal errors may have affected the fairness of the original trial.
Yeah, so it's not about if he did it or not.
No.
It's about what boxes ticked.
Yeah. After reviewing the case, the court rejected Adam's appeal. His convictions remain in place and his sentence remains unchanged.
And that bloke knows where Harmony is.
Yeah. I'm going to be really surprised, and obviously you've got to be careful what you say because you can't just accuse people of shit, but the fact that he had no problem keeping that little girl's body in the car, taking it into rented apartments, putting it in a ceiling vent, carrying his daughter's body about with him, I'm going to be very, very surprised if she does not, the ex-wife does not have an idea. But then I think if she did, surely that would have wrapped the case up if she could.
I think if she did,
Do you think she would have said?
there might have been something that had been said. Even if she wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Police would have definitely fucking asked that question.
Yeah. So for Harmony's loved ones, it meant that the guilty verdict still stood, but it still couldn't answer the question. From the very beginning, where is she? Still to this day, they're looking for her and they're never going to stop looking for her. And perhaps that's why this story continues to affect so many people, not simply because of the cruelty involved, but because it forces us to confront difficult questions. How did so many warning signs go unanswered? Could someone have intervened? How did a 5-year-old disappear for more than 2 years before anyone even started asking questions?
And they might never find her.
Might never find her. Every system that existed to keep Harmony safe failed her. Every single one.
Yeah.
So that is the sad story of Harmony Montgomery and her piece of shit dad, Adam.
Wow. Bless her little cotton socks.
5 years old. And the picture of her as well, like with her blonde hair and her little glasses on. And do you know what's upsetting the most, in my opinion? Like, she was living with foster families. She was in a happy foster placement. I will never understand how Adam was allowed full custody. Because he wasn't actively involved in her life. They didn't have a relationship. They didn't...
Yeah. The child cases always get me because it's like a mixture of sadness and rage in pit of my stomach.
Yeah. Because you just can't ever try to even understand it.
5 years old. So what, she's...
Probably a bit smaller than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That big.
I find it...
Well, I hope he has a really fun time in prison.
For the rest of his fucking days. I just find it really sad that for 2 years, nobody even sort of noticed she wasn't
Yeah.
It reminds me of, it reminds me of one that I did recently on TikTok that was similar. A little girl again, and but this one was for 4 years, and like no one had even started looking for her. But I suppose that's what, like, it makes me feel as upset, like it's really upsetting, but it also makes me feel grateful at the same time, because could you imagine if my mum had not seen any of our kids or heard from any of our kids in a day? Like, she'd be walking through the door.
Where you been?
I hadn't heard from you. So we're really fortunate in that respect. I couldn't imagine not having that family unit that allows somebody to be disappeared for 2 years.
It just makes you feel lucky that if you have got a great family unit, you should think yourself lucky, because not everyone does.
No, they don't. No. So, poor Harmony. I do really hope one day that they find her. And then it can just be closure.
Yeah, but I wouldn't hold your breath for it.
Yeah.
We live an hour and something away from Yorkshire Moors, and they're still trying to find that little lad's body on there.
Yeah.
And that's the Ian Brady and...
Oh, what's she called?
Myra
Hindley. Yeah.
There it is.
That is such a vast area, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, there's plenty of vast areas in America.
Absolutely.
So, I hope you enjoyed episode 4.
Yep.
Please carry on giving us feedback.
And also, like I said at the beginning, we've had this TikTok kaput. So we have had to start a new one. So if you did follow us on there, and if you do want to, please jump on and find us.
Please share this page to anyone that you know that likes true crime.
Yeah, and we'll see you back for episode 5 in a bit.
Bye-bye.